Hey guys, welcome back to Seller Sessions. Today I bring in Bogdan. How you doing?
Hi, Danny. How are you?
Yep, all good. We met in Romania last year. I was over there at Alex Huditon's event, and we had a
Yeah,
good chat and a catch up there. And obviously, we know each other from various different Facebook groups. But today, I want to talk to you about you've exited your business. I want to go through some of the processes. Obviously, some of the stuff is private and under NDA, etc. But there's a lot of stuff that people can learn for, especially now for Amazon sellers to sell their business. We know in order to make real money on Amazon is when you exit. The day you exit is the best day where you're going to earn your money. Before and after that, who knows? But ultimately, that's the end goal. Take some legacy money off the table if you can, right? So, do you want to give the audience a little bit of background on yourself?
yeah. So I started selling in USA in I think 2014. At first, I started with drop shipping from from Amazon to eBay. But after that, I've started also selling on Amazon. And at first, it was more of a play of a part-time. I was working at an engineer at IBM, and at the same time, I was doing drop shipping. And after the Amazon business started taking off, I've just quit my job and focused entirely on Amazon.
Cool.
And since then, I've just focused on building my brand and expanding, getting new products into the market and ranking them.
Excellent. Right. Yeah. So let's dial back then. So let's take it back. Romania's got a massive Amazon community, right?
Yeah.
And it's surprising because obviously you expect people to exit the US. I mean, in the UK, in my mastermind group, we've only had about 3 or 4 exits in the last 18 months. That's still good for a small core of people of about 23, right?
Yeah.
But still, when you look at Estonia, Lithuania, and places like that, Bulgaria, they're not the richest countries in the world. So it's really interesting how you guys have managed to build up this solid community and be able to get to the stage where some of you are exiting your businesses. Some of you guys, obviously there's plenty of 7-figure sellers there, but some of you guys are doing $1 million a month, which is incredible well. So let's walk through it. You said you started out at, was it IBM? So you're working in IT, so you've got a background being online, all that kind of stuff as the peripheral bits. So talk to me about when did it all start for you for Amazon? It was like 2015, the gold rush period, or was it before?
Around that period. Yeah. At first I had one product. I was doing drop shipping from eBay, and it started selling really well, like 10 a day. And that time you just posted something online, just researched 2 or 3 keywords and took a couple of photos, and everything it just started selling. Back then you didn't have even PPC.
No.
So,
well, it was introduced in 2015, I believe. But what you're saying is before then.
Before. So, and after that, I just started focusing on it, creating a brand, and improving the products, getting more products into the market. I had a couple of products. I've launched a product. It was the only one in that market, and the first month I've ran out of 300 units inventory, and it had like 0 reviews.
Cool. So so your baptism of fires back in 15, you'd run with 300 units, and were you? Okay, so even back then you weren't using PPC, but did you know any techniques in terms of attempting to rank back then, or you just slung it on Amazon and hope for the best?
Keywords, just keyword research. That's the only thing I know.
So you used the shitty tools which had no Amazon data out there, and you're just like using auto.
We were using the important things back then were keywords and also having good pictures.
Yeah, cool. Sounds good. Right. So first product goes out, 300 units. Put the money in yourself, savings, etc. But then I'm not going to jump too far forward yet, but we'll get to that point. But last look before you exited, you got the business from 300 units to $2.4 million. Normally, the bit which normally comes out off now is that, I started with 500 quid and, the whole guru thing, that's our flog of course, aspirational lifestyle, NLP bullshit. But for you, walk me through that process that you've done your first product, because obviously this is about exiting and now you got there and growing pains and stuff. So talk to me about how you've gone from that 300 units and walk me through a timeline of raising funds, bringing on investors, etc.
Sure. Yeah. So at first, I had like $10,000 or $15,000 invested into the business that I kept buying, inventorying, and selling.
Yeah.
And I didn't took money out of the business. That's really important. After I quit my job at IBM, I sold my car and invested all that money also into the business. I went at first to friends and family, and I think
sorry, butt in just quickly. You sold your car.
Yeah.
Why did you sell the car? Is it because you had like a really nice one, you was in a nice job, you was keeping up with the Joneses and decided, no, I'm investing, I'm doubling down, so the car's got to go?
Car's got to go.
Yeah.
And so invested all the money. I went to other people to raise more money. That's really important. I think a lot of sellers just focus on one product, and instead of raising more money and launching more products, they just keep making small changes for a long period of time. I think launching new products and testing the market and getting more money into the business is it's a really good thing you should do.
Yeah.
And at one point, I've raised like $150,000 that went also into the business from a partner. And
can we walk through those steps, because that's quite a large amount of capital, and was that the first time you've ever done fundraising? Because it's not an easy task to go out and
I've done at first around $20,000.
Yeah. So so let's walk through that, because this is going to be a key component, is that you can't just pull $150,000 out your back pocket. You've got to go and meet people, you've got to build trust, etc.
Sure.
So walk me through that process, because that's part of the growing pain.
Yeah, so I've worked a lot. I was lucky enough to have a good mentor. I've reached online at first, and we've developed a great relationship with a lot of trust. And after working together, at first we've worked to a $20,000 deal, and after that, after the business was growing really well. I talked to him that we needed more money. He agreed, and we've so he's also a partner right now, so he has part of the business.
Perfect. So basically what happened is you didn't go for the big number, because I know from the tech world, people walk around with a business plan and go, I want $250,000 without a product, a market to go to, etc. And they're working just off a business plan. You literally went in and gone, right, we need 20, and then that dialed up to 150. So it's an easier way of getting money. I just didn't know if you took the big jump to go out and get the 150 first, or partner first and then grow with a partner, and they kept pushing money in as they see results happening, right?
Sure. Yeah. So it was a process. At first, it was with $20,000, and after 1 year, we were discussing about 150.
Yeah. Cool. So talk me through them little stages there, because obviously they're part of the growth. Was all that 150 end up going on inventory? How many products? What was the timeline that you invested that over?
It was all into products. Back then we've optimized and we shipped everything via sea. That allowed us to push more inventory via sea. Launch, I think, 3 new products. Yeah. And business went to 200K a month.
Right. So that 150K went on 3 products.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So I take it that the markets you're in super competitive markets. So you need a lot of inventory. You were doing giveaways, that kind of thing, to get going?
To get going, not that much. Right. We focused a lot on our product, and we've made it so that it's really easy to use. And a lot of people, we've created training videos, instruction videos, a lot of things that Chinese sellers were not really good at.
Yeah, so you focused on brand, and you've got more of a technical product, would you say, as well, if you're producing video content?
More of a technical product, and that needed to be mounted. We created mounting instructions. We created everything so that people, and we got a lot of feedback from that. A lot of reviews came with thanking us that we've had this whole package put together really well.
Cool. And so with this, what period was this in? So you took the 20 in what year? 2015?
2016 it was. So when we created the videos and everything, 2016, 2017.
Okay, so over a year period, you went from 20K to 150K investment. That was for 3 different products.
Yeah.
Are they family related, meaning like these products were quite similar, or they kind of standalone?
Were similar.
Yeah.
Meaning one was for men, one for women.
Okay.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, cool. In terms of marketing, what were you doing? Like as you moved from 15 to 16, the days of Ames Tracker, getting loads of reviews. We had Review Armageddon, 6 and
Yeah.
October 2016. How was you affected by all that once you could, it wasn't as easy as it is, or it wasn't as easy as pre that? Yeah.
Yeah, so actually most of our reviews were really legit. So when Review Armageddon stroke a lot of people, we ended up with losing like 20 reviews from thousands. So it was really, it didn't affect us almost at all.
Cool. And so moving on a little bit, so you got yourself from that stage, you're in 2016, 17, you're hitting 100K a month, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what was the next steps? Once you've hit 100K, that's normally a good target marker for being comfortable. Yeah. Makes you start to think about, oh, well, this is a real business, you know, not that it's not rebuild this below, but you know what I mean? It's a real business that you could sell.
Yeah.
And there's an opportunity there to bring in more investment and grow the company and stuff, because it can be quite tricky below that 100K a month. There's a lot of variables going on. Once you get to 100K, you should have a little bit of a safety net in terms of cash on hand, and allows you to either you want to experiment going off of Amazon, or you want to reinvest in products, or you want to take a little bit out of the company, wages and stuff, and reinvest money elsewhere, you know, diversify your income. So what was your thought process there? You and your partner, obviously he wants to see a return on investment. Where did speaking to third-party purchasers come involved here?
Meaning to planning for planning the exit?
Yeah. When did you start thinking about exit, and what were the processes that you walked through? Did you have to go through and back validate a lot of stuff and optimize? Because obviously the way that you do accounting and where you got discretionary earnings, all these different things to consider. What was your process here? What was going on?
So I've started listing the business in 2018. Mm-hmm. We went through a broker.
Yep.
And we've started accounting. Luckily, in Romania, we have accrual accounting.
Yep.
It's really important. If you have cash basis, you should switch.
ASAP.
You should create a P&L with accrual accounting.
Yep.
And after that, we've started creating like so it's really important to plan ahead when you are thinking of exiting your business. Things like corporate structure, it's really important so that you optimize for the exit. The P&L, it's really important. Also the way you think at expenses in 12 months when your multiple is considered. You should really be careful, because each expense you make is gonna end up costing you twice or maybe 3 times as much
on your multiple.
With your multiple, yeah. So you have to be careful and don't do any like crazy
frivolous
ideas. Yes. And after that, start going to a broker. And start taking calls with potential buyers. Mm-hmm. When you the step from here, so you'll receive maybe some offers. Mm-hmm. And this is an important part before signing the LOI. Businesses are buying offers are structured in multiple ways. Most of the times you won't get all of the money up front. Also, there are different types of buyers. For example, businesses that are valued under $500,000 are usually taken over by smaller buyers. If your business is over $1 million, you'll get to discuss with bigger buyers who have more infrastructure or have different interests depending on your business.
Yeah.
So you'll get a couple of offers, and the initial LOI letter of intent will be sent. Do you want me to go to the full process?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Okay. So the initial LOI, after you and the buyer will agree at the number, the initial LOI is signed, letter of intent. This basically says that the buyer X will buy the business for the amount of money you set together.
Yeah.
After that, the due diligence starts. Please note that LOI is non-binding. So at any time, anyone can drop.
Yeah.
For me, for example, I had 3 or 4 LOIs signed.
Wow.
And so the buyers just three LOI I had signed. The buyer just when they go through the process, they go through the operations, to the financials, they might decide that they're not interested in the business. So it's okay at this point for everyone to
and
drop.
Is that crushing for you, because you prepared everything?
Yes.
And I suppose it's like different way, but when you see that people, when they're buying a house and stuff, they're set on it, and suddenly last minute everything drops, and you've got that whole process again, the whole chain starts. So talk me through what happened. Your first buyer, do you think they were serious? Were they disingenuous? No. But, so were they looking under the hood, basically? They nosing about?
They're nosing about. So it really depends. So the first buyer that we had we've answered the whole team. So at this point I have 5 or 6 people team, and the whole team worked for like a month or a month and a half. We answered over 100 something questions, and really intense ones. So not with yes or no or something like that. And after 2 months of due diligence, they just dropped. And after that, I've heard from the broker that they couldn't secure funding. So things like people should know that things like that happen. And at what you said earlier, that you get attached, that's a really, really important topic that I also talk with other people who contact me to sell their Amazon business. Don't get attached. The business is sold when the money enters your bank account. Until then, nothing is stable and nothing is secured. Just don't get attached, because it's very easy to get attached to the numbers and to the process. You start giving answering questions, and you're just certain that the business is sold. Actually, it's not. Until the APA is signed, money is transferred, nothing is.
No, business not done. So this is first buyer, you prepared, gone month in, taking care of everything. It's structured now. So it's good because next person comes along. But, it takes the wind out your sails a little bit. You've got to get back on the horse and back in the game. Second buyer. Talk me about the second buyer.
The second buyer didn't do too much due diligence. They just, we had an offer, we agreed on an offer. And after that, when we were started, we've also discussed with a lawyer. When we started drafting the APA, they just decided that the buyer was an old guy, and he decided he wanted to create another business, but at last moment he
dropped out, got cold feet.
So, and after that, Tracio came.
Yes. Well, I mean, they're a professional setup. We'll talk about them later. People should know also they are sponsor of Seller Sessions Live. So just want to declare that. But the bit I want to talk about is, let's go back to these other guys, because the thing is, like, there's a lot of emotion. You should have never had an emotion in business, but when you're selling, this could be legacy money and etc. For you, your family, etc. But it seems interesting. Like the first 2 buyers are not serious. So like, I think there's 2 sides to this, because you've got investors looking like, oh, are these really a serious outfit? But there are a lot of messes around on the investment side as well, isn't there? People will take liberties, to look under the hood, and it's almost like they're playing entrepreneur investors. And they don't say no either. You see this in the tech world. Everyone's terrified of saying no because they don't want to lose the next Uber, etc. Or in the music industry, Beatles, or do you know what I mean? You don't want that reputation as the A&R men. So people are scared of saying no, so they don't commit. So it can be difficult to read between the lines to see a genuine offer and it still falls through. And yeah, it's just interesting. So how would people listening now, how would they filter out the bullshitters? Because it's wasting your time.
It's wasting your time for sure.
Yeah.
I would say just maybe like talk to so to filter out. I think you can like schedule an amount of time. So don't devote when you see for example for me when I had over 100 questions at one point I think the line should have been drawn and say, hey, if we don't move to the next step, we can't answer any more questions. Just think what are the important ones, and after that the rest of them can be sorted out after signing the papers and in the handover process. But I don't think there are a lot of ways to avoid this type of situations, because it's selling your business is a whole different process than growing your business. It's a whole nother world. So if you get an offer, you should work with the buyer. If you see that he doesn't want to commit and he just pushes you more and more, just draw the line and move forward. As I repeat, it's really important not to get attached to the numbers. Just focus on the process. In the meantime, you should be running the business well. You should be growing the business. You should have a good growth plan. So don't. I've heard a lot of stories of people just focusing on the sell and ignoring running the business. So that's really important. The numbers should come in because and should be good, because at the end of each month you should send in new numbers, updated numbers.
And like you said, you've got to clear up. I mean, through the agency, we have a transparency program for the PPC side. Like I always say to clients, look, you've got to tell me if you want to sell. I want you to sell. I don't care if you leave the agency. I want you to get legacy money off the table. And we have different approaches PPC wise for them, because if they're in a mode, like you said earlier, it affects your multiple if you spend too much. So you can't, not that you be frivolous, but you have different processes in terms of would you want to go aggressive with the PPC? Are you leaning back now? Are you in growth mode? Are we in sustainability because new numbers are coming? All of that stuff is really, really important.
Yeah, the strategy of the business is really important. If you have a direction, for sure you should communicate to all people working in the business that this is the direction, so that everyone calibrates their actions to your strategy.
So in comes Thrasio. So different kind of setup. Did you go for a broker for Thrasio? Because they're basically they're buyers. They acquire the companies and run them themselves, don't they? And they're growing I think they buy between 2 and 5 businesses a month on Amazon.
I was still going through the same broker. And we actually last year, this time I was in the process with Thrasio. We just started. And one thing that you should know, that they do a lot of due diligence up front. And after that, the great thing is that the handover part is really easy. So you just the handover was like just had a couple of calls and if they have questions.
So they have a process in place anyway.
They have a really good process. And they're serious buyers. From my experience, they didn't like send 200 nonsense questions.
I think the thing is, in this space you need trust, right? And if you're going around hoovering up businesses and buying these businesses, you want to have a great reputation to close fast. If you don't, then people are not going to come to you, and then you can't grow. So if they want 2 to 5 businesses a month, they need to be squeaky clean. And so far, so good. Do you see what I mean?
Sure, for sure.
Let's talk about you in the sense of, took me through the emotions of going through this process and where you are today, like a year later. Did you do an earn out? You don't have to go into details and multiples because that's private, but are you still with the business as of today, or have you started a new one, etc.?
So I started right now. I have a new brand and that I'm working on with the team. I'm still, I have an earnout. I think, most of the people have an earnout, but, and I still have access to to my account.
Yeah.
So, to my old account.
Yeah. To help out and stuff like that.
To help out. Yeah. If I see something, if I see, that, something's changed, or, if I see a small improvement that can be done, I send them an email, and they responded quite quickly, and they've fixed all the details. And as of this moment, the business has grown really well. So I think 30 to 40% over last year. So that's
cool.
good.
So once you got paid out, we won't go into that details. Let's just say you sold for 7 figures, and I think you took close to, after taxes, you were close to 7 figures that you left. So what have you done now? Like, because I've got a couple of friends who sold earlier on in the year, and they're still looking for that thing. They don't know whether they're going back straight into the saddle in Amazon, because they're very much branded the way they work, more than less the technical side. I know you're very technical. So like in terms of ranking, this person was more on the branded side and started in 15. So they're not necessarily sure where they want to go, whether they want to dive back in does that make sense? So they're looking around to see.
They're looking around.
See what their next things are. So for you, how long did it take you to get your cash in the bank, take a quick look at it, pop to the beach, back home? When was it when you were back in the game again?
So actually, when I sold my first brand, I already had a couple of products launched in the second brand. Right. So for me, it was quite an easy decision, because I've built a lot of skills around Amazon, and it was a really like a wasted opportunity to not continue to do this. And also right now that I have more money to invest in, so I don't have to start with 10K or something like that. I can just roll out
all in.
Roll out multiple products, and just continue creating new brands and launching new products. And so we just dive right in.
Cool. So what do you think in this whole process? Give me 2 to 3 core things you learned. Because it seems like you went aggressive, launched a load of products on the second brand. Are you saying that you would say is the best way forward is just blitz it, just get lots of products out there, as long as it's structured? But
depends on I would answer that question. Depends on your strength. If your strength is just creating unique products and developing unique products, I would just go to a bigger market, create an innovative product, and just have one product that does like 300K a month. Right. If your strength is ranking, I would just launch more products and rank them. And if they're similar, just try to make small differentiations, and that's it. But depends on your strength. And just identify it. If your strength is to launch multiple products a month, you have that system dialed in. Just go and do that. Launch 4, 5 products a month. Rank them. Get like 5 sales for each SKU per day, and that's amazing.
Yeah, sounds good. Cool. Anything else you'd like to add before we go?
Basically, if you are thinking of creating an exit, just plan ahead really well. Don't get attached in the process. And after you've exited, just enjoy, have a break, have a 1 month break or something like that. Enjoy and come with fresh energy and focus.
Cool. And if anyone wants to reach her, that's the best way to get in contact.
Facebook, Bogdan Editoiu, just send me a message, and for sure I reply.
Cool. Thank you, mate. It was a good show. Right, guys.
Thank you, Danny.
No worries. I'll see you again soon. Just quickly, if you want to grab tickets for Seller Sessions Live, you can still. There's still a few left. I think there's about 34 tickets left now for the main event. We've got some tickets left for the the VIP, and I'll be launching the 2 workshops on the Friday over the next couple of weeks. Links will be in the descriptions below. I'll see you again in the next few days. Take care.